Alright, what's up everyone? So I've run into an issue recently with the Miata. Yesterday as I was driving home from work, we had some issues with the clutch engaging. I don't think it's the clutch or transmission itself, but I do think it's the slave cylinder or the master cylinder for the clutch. Apparently this is an issue that other people have seen before on these cars, so yeah. You may also notice I am in a garage now, so this is my home. We got a new garage to shoot in. I really wanted to make like a really fun, exciting video. We moved in last weekend, but I ran into this issue Friday night and I was just too frustrated to even film it. I did start a little bit on this project, so expect to see something more on the house and the new garage in the coming days or weeks. But today we're going to be working on the clutch, so let's get started. Alright, so this is the old slave cylinder. You can see I've already kind of taken it apart just to kind of see how it works. But hoping that this is the issue and we'll be able to get it all fixed up today with no issues. This is the new one I just got today. It's actually really inexpensive, which is surprising considering that usually things with clutches are expensive. But here's the new one. I'm going to go ahead and get this opened and we will go ahead and get started. I'm just shooting on the GoPro today, so I've only got one hand to do this, and I'll get as much as I can. Hopefully you learn something if this happens to your car. I'll go ahead and explain the issue that I'm having in more detail here in a second. So basically what's happening, so I'll stop and get in the car here. Everything still shifts just fine, like it goes into all the gears. So I don't believe it's an issue with the transmission, but, and clutch is gonna go down super easy because I've taken the slave cylinder out, but this is really loose. And this is how it was yesterday. So when I was getting on the highway, I put it into neutral to turn onto the frontage road, and everything just kind of locked up. Like the car still ran and everything, but I couldn't shift into gear. So I turned the car off and I put it into first. Starting the car, it works perfectly fine. I could get going, and every gear after first gear was really hard to get into if I got into it all. Sometimes if I put it into gear, I couldn't get it out of gear because the clutch wasn't engaging. It wasn't pushing any fluid through it. And when I tried to bleed the clutch, the old slave cylinder, it wasn't spitting out any liquid. So it leads me to believe there's something wrong with the motion of pushing the clutch in and flowing that liquid through. So we're going to hope that the slave cylinder fixes it, because if it doesn't, we'll have to go back to O'Reilly's or AutoZone, whichever you prefer, and get a clutch master cylinder, which is that one right there. And getting under the car here, you can see that there's already a little bit of brake fluid that I've taken off. Right up here where that line is for the clutch line and those couple bolt holes, that is where the actual slave cylinder will go. So I'm going to do my best to film this, but I am shooting by myself today, and we'll just kind of see how it goes and keep on moving with this project. Hopefully this isn't too shaky, but I'm going to go ahead and get this guy open. Here's the new one. It's got the line for the clutch. It's got a boot. This is the kind of actuator that pushes in. I can show you on the old one. So this basically goes inside here and pushes it in. The thing is, there's not really anything to push into. So I'm wondering if that is also part of the problem on this piece. This is the old one. So you can actually check and see, popping this boot off. So you can see that there's this metal piece in here, and then this one, the broken one, it never came out. So it wasn't like pressing out. I'm hoping that that's why this doesn't work, but we'll have to see. This is really frustrating, and I kind of hate dealing with this kind of stuff when it's a lot more fun to do, you know, car mods and things like that. And you know, I'm sorry that this is repair work, but maybe you'll learn something from this video. That's what I'm hoping, that everyone kind of learns something, and maybe it'll inspire you to go work on your own car or not be afraid to fix things on your own. So I'm going to get this all set up. Alright, so you can see this. Make sure that you're able to watch what I'm doing. Sorry if you can see my hairy leg, but we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of grease on this just to be sure that everything is kind of running smoothly. Just kind of put some around the edges here. Like that. And another thing we're going to want to put grease on is this. I'm not sure what these like pieces are called, so you have to bear with me if I just call them this thing or that thing. Got grease there. Alright. Next thing we're going to do, put this rubber boot back on. And then we're going to place this inside the boot. Just have to get it up around the edges. Like that. Alright, and that's kind of how it looks. It does come with this, the old one had this black little cap on it. So I am going to go ahead and replace that if I can. And it doesn't look like it's really going to do anything. Okay, so we've got our new setup here. And now we just need to install it in. One thing I forgot to mention is the tools you'll need for this. You will need a 13mm socket wrench, and then you'll want one of these, I can't remember what they're called, but it's like a half, it's almost like a circle. This is to go around like brake lines and clutch lines so you don't strip out the bolts, because that would not be good if you had that happen. And then I got this universal swivel head for a socket wrench. We might not need it, but if we do, I do have it. So that is what you will need. So hopefully you can see this. You see right here is a bolt hole here, bolt hole there. There is a bolt hole right here to hold this line in place, and then you can see the lines right here. So grabbing the new part here. We'll go ahead and put this up right here, like so. That will fit in right there. There we go. That's one. All right, that one's in. Probably hand tighten these down a little bit more. can tighten this top one up, maybe. Needs to keep going. Okay. This bottom one here. Nice and tight. That one. This one's still got a little bit of room. There we go. That nice and tight. Alright, here's the part I get nervous about is putting in these brake lines, because these clutch lines, they just, it makes me nervous to cross thread these screws, but I think it's going in just fine. You want to take your 10, I think it's a 10 millimeter, it slides right over like so. Maybe it's 11. Is it 11? It is 11. No, it's not. Okay. There we go, 10. Just want to make sure that this is tight, because I mean, this is, there's going to be some pressure behind this, and you don't want this blowing out again. Go ahead and put this bolt in. It holds the line. I keep saying brake line. It's not a brake line. Come on. Almost got it. And of course, right at the end, every time you're ratcheting anything, it starts to loosen up right towards the end, and it won't actually spring back for you, and it just will loosen every single time. I can just do it by hand. Alright, so that is in. Our slave is in. Now we're going to go back up top and I'll explain what we're going to do next. Alright, next thing we're going to want to do is we need to bleed out any of the fluid that's in there to make sure we have good clutch pressure and all that. So I got this tube. What you want to do is, it's almost like bleeding your brakes. It's got a little bleeder valve. You crack that open and then you can press down on the clutch pedal and it'll bleed just like your brakes. So you want to get some sort of tubing that you can see through. This is the biggest one I could find that would fit the actual bleeder valve, and you want to be able to see the fluid going through it. What you can do with this hose, you take the end of it, and this is what your bleeder valve looks like, and you can see it just kind of loosens up, and then fluid will come out. As you tighten it, it won't. You want to take this. This is impossible to do with one hand, but you'll place it over the top like that, and then that way it catches any fluid, and then we've got that old washer fluid container over there to put any brake fluid that comes out. And I'm really hoping this works. If this doesn't work, then you'll have another video of me fixing the master cylinder, which I guess is easy to, but hopefully I don't have to do that. I guess while we wait for help, you will need help to bleed your clutch, because someone has to press on the clutch and you have to crack the valve open and close. But yeah, so this is the garage. Just a quick view for you. It's not super set up. We got the Mazda and Subaru flags for the Mazda and Subaru. We missed trash day, so there's a lot of trash out here right now, but you can see spare parts, paints. Put together this shelf, which will pretty much, I've decided to hold kind of like detailing and car wash things over here on the top. You can see like buckets, hoses, just little things like that. We need to make a video of washing these cars because it's super filthy. It hasn't been washed in a long time, months probably. Alright, so once my assistant gets out here to help bleed the clutch, we will do that, and I'll show you the process for that, and then hoping that works, and hopefully we can go for a test drive and get back on the road. Alright, so we have the bleeder valve attached to the hose. We can start this process. Alright, so push it down all the way. Okay, pull it back up. Did it pop back up?
No. There.
Alright, push it down all the way. Alright, so that didn't work. Fluid was starting to run through it a little bit, but it's just, there's no pressure behind the pedal when you press down. So I guess the next step would be to get a master cylinder. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish the video right here for this one, and I'm going to go ahead and take off the master cylinder, because when I do make another video on it, it's going to install the same way as you take it off. So stick around for that one. If you guys know of any other ideas, please leave it down in the comments. I'd appreciate it, because I'm starting to get a little fed up with this. So thanks for watching, thanks for sticking around, thank you for subscribing, hit that like button, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, so quick update. It's the next day from this last video. I was taking out the master cylinder, and I found this to be my clutch pedal. So the metal is actually snapped off the mounting point, which explains the kind of pop that I heard when I was going to shift and when I couldn't shift anymore. So I really don't know if this is this could be the actual issue. This could be the only thing that I need to worry about. But yeah, so that's fun. So now I'm on the hunt for a new clutch pedal, which has been so far quite enjoyable. So that's the actual end of the video, guys. Anyways, stick around for the next video of installing a few goodies. I have a couple things on the way as well, which we'll be installing, and yeah, stick around.